Chris Smith does not get talked about enough.
Respect,
Never will.
big respect. I did not think Chris Smith would climb to the heights that he did when he came to Athens. I thought he was a role player. He ended up being an incredibly solid player.
Bruce, I don't know if you remember this. We had this Nike thing or the whatever. It was me, you, Brandon Adams, Rusty, Mansell, like all of us were there. And Chris, it was the year Chris Smith was coming out.
Mhm.
And I don't think he was an early enrollee. I think he was trying to get that worked out. He was a cornerback at the time, and it was the first time I'd ever seen him in person. Like
Yep.
I was covering the team at the time. I hadn't seen him in person, and I saw that kid, and I had the same reaction as the first time I saw David Pollock. Like, what? I mean, this guy does. I mean, he looks like he'd probably be a really good high school football player. Don't get me wrong, but this dude's about to go. He's about to go run amongst the trees out there. Like he's gonna go run with the Buffaloes. And he did, man. I mean, and was a stud. So, you can't count him out.
I thought role player at corner at best. Like a rotational player would be happy to serve 4 years and go on, be a solid piece of your team, an upstanding young man. Dude turned into a hell of a player.
Yeah, incredible safety. And
one of 13 unanimous All-Americans in program history.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Frank Dinklage, Charlie Trippi, Royce, Andrew Thomas, Jordan Davis, N'Kobe Dean.
We got gremlins tonight, dude.
My
lasting memory of Chris Smith will always be, and I don't know if it went down this way, but Tennessee, Georgia gives up 10 quick points to 10 or 13 quick points or whatever it was there in Neyland. And Chris Smith you see him come out next series, he's lined up over the slot. And they got Dan Jackson at safety, and you're just like, what? Chris Smith plays star? What's going on here? And then boom, all of a sudden Tennessee can't really get anything else going, and Georgia, beats them like Georgia beats up on Tennessee, man.
Tennessee, man, in our Hall of Fame. I went to a Hateville game when they played Douglas back in 2017, and Trey Scott County was at the game.
Douglas County or Frederick Douglas?
Fred.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Frederick, and it wasn't just Frederick Douglass. He had 10 other guys on the team with him too. And that was always our favorite joke on the high school Friday night show whenever someone was playing Langston Hughes. Hope they had more than just Langston Hughes there.
Yeah, Langston Hughes against Frederick Douglass. Pretty boring one-on-one football.
A one-on-one football game. Kind of like Shaheen Otani versus Mike Trout the other night. That's what it was billed as, just a one-on-one baseball game. But Trey Scott was there, and I was like, who you here to see? And Trey Scott was here, just hanging out, watching a lot of talent, obviously, but Chris Smith was there. And it was an October night, and I actually got a chance to talk to Trey Scott. Really cool dude. This was before he proved himself as worthy of Georgia fans' admiration, because I know they hated his guts back then as Georgia was making another national championship run, or at least an attempt at one. But that kind of clued in like, okay, Trey Scott won't even coach this guy in college, but he's checking in to see what kind of game Chris Smith can have. And I think they shut him out, if I remember correctly. But, it feels like 1,000 years ago.
Hateville was dudes back then, man.
I love going to
William Poole, Kingsley, and Ignagbare came out of there.
I believe Arden Key as well.
Arden Key, you're right. Yeah, he was kind of the guy who kind of set that off, that run, anyway, that they had.
Arden Key was one of those recruits you were like, man, I don't know where the hell he's going to end up, or will he play college ball, or is he even real? Like, I mean, you just
is he a creative player?
Yeah, there's just some weird stuff, man. Every now and then you get that weird cat in recruiting. Nadab Joseph was another one.
Oh,
like boy. I'm not so sure. I mean, I almost felt like
I cannot verify. I cannot independently verify his existence.
Or Seven Cloud, like, I mean, I know there's a rough situation there apparently, but I mean, it just happens from time to time. You're like, where the hell did they end up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with
the
AI these days, you never know. There's going to be
fake, baby, deep fakes.
There's going to be a fake player that slips through the cracks.
Final score of that Hateville Charter Douglas game from 2017, you said?
Are you on Max Preps?
I am.
I'm gonna guess it was
2017.
23 to nothing.
Was it 2017 or
No,
16?
that had to be a 16 game because I think that Chris was a 17 enrollee in the Justin Fields class, if I'm not mistaken.
Justin Fields was an 18 guy though.
Was
Yeah,
he an
20
18? Okay, then it was the 17. Then it was the
2017 game. Final score 35-14.
Okay. All right. Well, I always left those high school games before it was over, so it was a shutout when I left.